Hey y'all, today I'm going to show you 5 ways to make eggs. So there are a billion different ways to make eggs, but these are the 5 that I picked to show y'all today, and this is just the way I make them. So hopefully this will help y'all. So the first thing we're going to do is hard-boiled eggs. So what I do is I take a big pot and I put enough water in there that it's going to cover my eggs. You want your eggs to be submerged in the water. And you want your water to be cold. Now, it doesn't have to be freezing cold, but it needs to be like cold out of your faucet, okay? We don't want to put these in hot water. And the way that I'm doing these, you're going to get a perfect egg, a perfect hard-boiled egg. Now, if you want soft-boiled, you have to cook them for less time. But for a hard-boiled egg, they're going to cook perfectly and they're going to peel perfectly. So once you get your eggs in your cold water, you're going to put this on the stove, turn your heat up to high, and we're going to bring it to a boil. Once it starts to boil, you're going to set a timer for 10 minutes for the hard-boiled egg. After 10 minutes, you're going to take it off the heat, and we're just going to let this sit while we get our ice bath ready, okay? This is a couple of steps, but I'm telling you, it's going to make your eggs peel perfectly, okay? So once you get your ice bath ready, and that's just some cold water with a couple of handfuls of ice, you're going to just put your eggs over in there. Then we're going to let this sit for another 10 minutes, okay? Once your 10 minutes is up, your eggs should be pretty much cooled down and they're going to be ready to peel, okay? We didn't use any salt, any vinegar, anything extra. These are just eggs and water, okay? And if if you don't mind what the outside of your egg looks like, then it doesn't really matter. Like if you're just cooking them just to eat a boiled egg. But if you're making them, like especially if you're doing them for some kind of a get-together and you're doing like deviled eggs, you want the whites of your eggs to not be all torn up. Look how perfectly that peeled, y'all. So if you haven't been making them like this, you got to. So the next thing that we're going to do is scrambled eggs. Okay, I know this seems simple to some people, but somebody reached out to me not too long ago and asked me how to cook an egg because they just didn't know. And so I wanted to put this video together, so hopefully it will help if you're a brand new cook or if you're not a brand new cook, but you're just not sure on some of the ways, to cook an egg. So these are just the 5. There's a billion different ways you can do it. These are just the 5 that I chose to show you today. So I cracked my eggs in a bowl and I'm putting some seasoning in it, salt, pepper, garlic, and onion, and I'm going to add a little bit of almond milk because that's what I had. If you want to use regular milk, you can. You can use heavy cream, half and half. I've even used a little bit of water. It all turns out fine. In my opinion, it's really not that big of a difference. So use whatever you have. And you want to just mix your egg up really good. Use a little fork like that. And you want to make sure that your white and your yellow just mixes together really, really well. Then on your stove, you're going to put your pan and you're going to put a little bit of oil or cooking spray or butter, whatever you want to use. Let your pan get hot, and then you're going to just slowly move your egg around until your egg is as cooked as you want it. It's really that simple, y'all. I would just make sure, don't turn your heat up too high because it will burn your eggs and it'll make them stick really bad. But about a medium heat is usually pretty good. And you're just going to cook them until they're as done as you want them to be, okay? So next up, I'm going to show you kind of 2 different ways to make a fried egg. So on the first one, this is the way that I always did it, for years and years and years. I've got my pan hot. I put a little bit of cooking spray in there. Again, you can also use oil or butter, whatever you want to cook yours in. And then you crack your egg in there, and then I'm just seasoning mine up with some salt and pepper. And the eggs kind of have 3 parts, in my opinion. They have the really runny part of the white, the thicker part of the white, which you can see right here, and then the yellow part. So to keep the really thin part from burning, I'm just kind of gathering it up and kind of flipping it onto the thicker part of the white. And because the way that I cook my fried eggs, I like my yolk runny, but I don't like any of the white runny. So I just kind of move the white around a little bit, kind of bust it a little bit to get it to cook a little faster. So then I just flip it over and I season the other side. Now when your egg is ready to flip, it's kind of like meat. If you're cooking meat, if you try to move this egg and it doesn't move, it is not ready to flip. And if you try to flip it, it's going to rip your yolk open, okay? But if you don't want a runny yolk, then go ahead and poke a hole in your yolk and let that run out and cook too. Either way you want to do it is fine, but this way your white's done and your yellow is not. So the second way that I do fried eggs, or I guess maybe steamed eggs, or however you want to call them, I just still consider them fried eggs. I put a little bit of cooking spray in my pan, let it heat up on a medium heat. And then I'm gathering up that runny part of that white. I am going to show you in a minute how to get rid of that though if you don't want it. But to keep my eggs from having a 4-foot wingspan, I'm just going to kind of fold the runny parts in onto the other parts. So we're going to let your eggs sit here until it starts to get white. See right there around the thick part of the white part where it's, how many times can you say white? When it starts to get cooked right there, you're going to pour about 2 tablespoons or so of water in your pan and stick a lid on it. We're still on medium heat. You're going to set a timer for 45 seconds. After 45 seconds, this is what your eggs are going to look like. These are perfectly cooked, at least the way that I like them. Now, if you like the yellow part cooked more, then cook it a little longer, but this is the white completely done and your yolk is still runny, okay? These are so good, y'all. So the last way that we're going to show you how to cook an egg today is a poached egg, okay? These are easier than you think. So remember the runny part of the white we were talking about? So to get rid of that, this is how you do it. You're going to crack your egg carefully into a very fine sieve or little tiny, very fine strainer. Do it over a bowl, and you can see that the thick part of the white and the yellow stay in the strainer, and that really runny part runs out into the bowl below. So that's how you get rid of that extra runny part if you don't want it. So to poach this egg, you're going to warm up a pot of water. You want it just under boiling. You don't want it to be boiling. Then you're going to add about a tablespoon or 2 of vinegar. Don't worry, you will not taste it. And then I make a vortex with my spoon and then carefully drop my egg down in there. And then I set a timer for 3 minutes. It comes out perfectly after 3 minutes, exactly the way I like mine cooked. So this is, a lot of people don't use the vortex. They don't use the vinegar. They, do it however you want. But if you don't have a way to do it, try it this way because it's super simple and it turns out really, really good. So after 3 minutes, you're going to put this on a paper towel and just let that water kind of strain off of it. And then, in my opinion, the best way to eat a poached egg is Eggs Benedict, right? Who's with me? What way do y'all like your poached eggs? So I put them on a little toasted English muffin, a little piece of ham, put my eggs on there, and then I'm going to put some hollandaise sauce on the top. And of course, we're going to season it a little bit. But I have a video on how to make the hollandaise sauce, like the whole Eggs Benedict. I'll make sure that's linked down below for y'all. And I'm going to link my whole egg playlist down there in case there's other ways that you want to look at. But y'all, don't ever be ashamed to ask if you don't know something, okay? Because not everybody starts out, in the kitchen and knows exactly how to cook everything. If you don't know how to cook something, ask somebody. Even people, like I cook a lot, obviously. I have a cooking channel, but there are tons of things I don't know how to cook and things that I have to look up and stuff like that. And you may not like your scrambled eggs cooked exactly like I cooked them, but that's okay. If you're somebody who is at the very beginning of your journey, or the very beginning of your journey with eggs, this is just kind of a jumping off place. Start here and then figure out what you like. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, just don't be embarrassed to ask. And I hope that this video helps somebody. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Okay, that is all I've got for y'all today, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Bye, y'all.